Today's episode is with Corin Christian. And Corin works in fashion and VIP relations, a world that's very visible from the outside, but rarely understood from the inside. His work lives in the space between image and logistics, taste and timing, and those quiet decisions that shape how moments actually land. I was interested in talking to Corin because he understands style as a lived practice, not just something you wear, but something that helps you move through rooms, relationships, and moments with intention. This conversation, isn't about trends for their own sake, but rather it's about identity, visibility, boundaries, and what it actually costs to live a life that looks effortless from the outside. Corin, I'm really glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. How's your season starting out so far?
Well, with the snow blizzards, I don't think it's that great.
Yeah.
Work has been slow, honestly. Winter's always the hardest time for us when it comes to just like events, getting people to do budgets, and just people coming out. It's so cold.
Yeah.
But people say in winter that most people come out the most, honestly, which is kind of crazy for me, but I get it. If you're depressed in the house, I will come out too. But I haven't even really had that many events yet. Fashion Week's coming around the corner, so I'm getting ready for that. Nothing has been set in stone yet. I kind of get the tail end of things when I get to work, so I get there and it's just like, this is what you're gonna do, this is what's gonna happen today, these are the clients, and this is what we're gonna do. And I'm like, okay. And my boss has trusted me, so that's where we're starting with Fashion Week.
Yeah, we're going to get into that more. I'm interested, you said before about getting ready. What does that mean?
Kind of like prepping. When it comes to winter, we recycle new staff and stuff, so we have to prepare them for more so just like the VIP clientele, the people we work with, not always being like stargaze or having your phone out. We sign NDAs. So when we're hiring these new people that want to be in this setting of a space, you have to know how to act. And with Fashion Week coming around, it's a lot when it comes to like dealing with press, dealing with people wanting to get in that aren't on a list, people that just want to be a part of a space but aren't invited. And I feel like a lot of people want to invite their friends. They want to, they want a plus one. And I feel like a lot of people just don't realize that when you're invited to a place, it's for you.
Yeah.
Everyone will have their time if it's meant for them. I used to finesse a lot when I was 19, so I can't really say anything. I've sneaked into places, I've done my thing, but I feel like Fashion Week's kind of dying. I feel like it's dying.
You mean New York or just like the whole fashion month?
I would say New York. I think the best time is honestly September, is always because it's warm. People want to come, they want to travel, they want to be here.
Spring, summer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to February, it's like, it's dying. I feel like there's no budgets anymore. I feel like a lot of media like TikTok has taken over. So these people that really don't have pure talent, no offense, but they don't,
You know who you are.
They're coming to the setting and they're taking away from the people that actually have and want to grow from their craft instead of being idolized from people they don't even know.
Yeah.
And they're like, because a lot of people I've met, and most celebrities are introverted, so when they come, they're like, hi, hey, I'm like, hi, like, oh my God. Like, Eddie Murphy's one of the people that he's on set, he's like this, but in person, he's like Dead Man Slam.
I've heard
and
the
I'm
same.
like, it's kind of crazy to think, you think someone that's behind the scenes on camera, they're so active and so fun, but in person, they're very just like, there's no personality. There's no, anyways.
No, it makes you think about like the energy transfer
Right.
also from like in front of the camera versus like off.
Yeah.
And when someone yells cut, that's when they can finally like take a breath and relax or something like that. You touched on, lists and spaces and all that before. It reminded me of something funny that happened to me back in my executive assistant days. It was a Met Gala after party, and my boss I was working in fashion at the time, as you know. My boss, we shows up to, so Boom Boom Room is still used like heavily by the fashion community and all that for a lot of events. They were hosting one of the parties at the time, and it was Carla Otto or Purple or whoever the hell was working the door. I watched them turn down Alex Rodriguez, Megyn Kelly, and Elon Musk.
Oh, wow.
And then my boss, at the time who, isn't like a big name celebrity, was running one of the largest model agencies in the world, walks right in, no problem. Which really just goes to show, like, that at least like in the world of fashion, from what I've observed, that fame itself doesn't really matter and doesn't
Yeah, it
unlock like
doesn't.
every and any door. Like when you're curating, whether it's a collection or a
Right.
space, it's super intentional.
Well, mind you, a lot of people can pay to go to Fashion Week,
Yeah.
which is very interesting to me. And
Now they can.
they can now, but you have these billionaires. I get hit up a lot. I have clients. They're like, "Oh my God, I'll give you this X amount of money to get me into these spaces," and it's like, but what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you really adding to the room?
They're taking a selfie and what
Right. You're posting in
but,
saying you were
yeah.
there with this celebrity, you're around these people, but what connections are you making? Are you going to connect? Are you going to say that you're connecting the dots of you being there? You're there.
Yeah.
And you're posting and you're like, oh my God, hashtag this. I was here with this person. And oh my God. In which, that's a big thing now. You post a person, you get their fan base, you get followers
Sure.
from them, you grow from it. Cool. But some people, I feel like they do a lot.
Social capital.
Social capital, social climbing.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. I mean, I get it. I did it when I was young, but now I don't really have to anymore. So
You're still young.
I know.
I want to go back for a second, and talk about like where, when you were younger and what you saw fashion as, did you see it as self-expression, or protection or aspiration or something else?
Well, when I was younger, when I was in high school, middle high school, my mom was very military. So I grew up in a military home kind of. So when I grew up, my mom didn't like a lot of things. She didn't like a lot of things that I was wearing. And so I would always like put these outfits in my book bag in the backyard and like change into them and then come in the house like regular, like, hey. And she'd be like, oh my God, hey. And then like I got caught once in the backyard. And I think the self-inspection for me came when I came out. It kind of helped me just be more self-aware about like, it doesn't really matter about the image, it's about if you're comfortable, And I just feel like it took me a long time to really have self-expression in like outfits and just myself in general, from childhood. And then I moved to New York when I was 19 and I was like, wow, like New York is insane.
Yeah.
At the time before COVID, it was fun.
Sure.
It was insane. You're going to these events, you're walking into these rooms, even finessing, just, walking in with paparazzi behind another person with your head down, just like trying to get in. And you get in and you're like, wow, like I'm in the same room as these people. I'm going to connect. I'm going to grow. And that kind of shaped my life, just like finessing, not going to lie.
And your taste?
My taste was already there.
Yeah.
I just think I needed that level of push and elevation. I think New York gave it to me. My style has always changed over the years. Now I'm getting a little bit more subtle because I'm getting older. I'm about to be 27. So I'm kind of just like dimming into my actual personal style. Back then it was like, rainbow loom chokers. It was like,
I remember those
ripped
days.
jeans,
Yeah.
Shoelaces tied around your waist, those fashion fads. So I think now I've grown into what I want to do. I feel like a lot of people move to New York and there's so many things you can do. You don't just know. Everyone's trying to make their money to live here instead of figuring out what they want to do as a person. And I feel like people transition from working at McDonald's and they get a corporate job and then they go back to this and then they go into fashion and then they find their niche after a couple of years and they're like, wow. But then a lot of people get, stargazed by social media and then they want to be TikTokers and then they blow up on TikTok. And then they really promote their craft of what they want to do and they figure out who they are. And I think for me, moving to New York at 19, well, actually 17, straight out of high school, I had a scholarship. I graduated early. And I partied the first 4 years. I partied, and I made my connections.
Yeah.
And I think that is what got me here today. Just being in the same room as people, being in the room, making yourself known. A face always matters. A lot of people don't know your name, right? But they know your face. And I think face card always just, it's the deal breaker.
Yeah. And how you make them feel.
And how you make them feel, right?
Yeah. So it's now, fall, winter fashion week 2026. What is something that you think people misunderstand about what you do?
Okay.
You're like, how much time do you have?
I know. I label myself as a creative, so I don't really like to put myself stuck on one thing like VIP relations, PR relations, because I've done everything. I've managed speakeasies. I've done big clubs. I've worked the door at many establishments. I've done things bi-coastal, LA, Miami, here. So for me, I don't know. I feel like I base myself as a creative, and the creative is the main word because you can do X amount of things. You know, there's no stop, there's no end. So for me, I think my next step now is opening my own lounge, just
Hey
to create a
now.
safe space for people. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like that kind of lacks. It's kind of hard now. You know, you got to raise capital. You've got to find a business that doesn't have a leak, doesn't have like some type of malfunction, no pre-war existing damages. You know,
Yeah.
trying to find something that's safe for people.
Sure.
Because a lot of corporations are going downhill now, and I'm watching from the back end, and I'm just like, do I really want to go into this? Like, is this really what I want to do? And it is. So I think that's my next step in life. Because I've done a lot of VIP relations. It's fun. You know, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people. I like being behind the scenes more than in scene. You know, I've done a lot when I was 19, so I was on hands. And I think now my biggest thing is just being behind the scene and just like making people feel wanted and not rejected, and just be able to connect with people. Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit already about the idea of getting into these places, the scarcity. All that makes a lot of sense from a VIP perspective. What about like once you walk in, when you're in the room, when you're in the space, what have you seen change over the years that people look for now that they may not have thought to look for then, or what's stayed the
I
same?
honestly would say the personal, just the interactions are different. I feel like a lot of people are scared to talk to each other. You walk into a
Really?
space, and then I can go to a space. I went up to Doja Cat and I'm like, "Hey, girl," we're like,
Yeah.
chatting it
Oh,
up.
I
Oh my
see
God,
what
da,
you
da, da.
mean. Yeah.
We're going, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love you." We're in the bathroom taking photos, and I'm like, someone would die to be here.
Yeah.
But it
A lot of
feels
people.
natural instead of like a fan, And I feel like a lot of people are scared to go into a room and talk.
Because they feel like they need permission.
They feel like they need permission, and these are people,
Yeah.
you know.
How'd she look?
Oh my God.
Insane.
I mean, at the time I was doing film. I was getting hired I was shooting disposables, and I was in the room just shooting celebrities for fun because I was in the room. I was like, let me just add another thing to my book that I can just say is cool. And so I was taking photos of celebrities. I've gone and take photos of Dwayne Wade, Doja Cat, Madonna. I'm like doing these film things quick, and just getting a lot of recognition for it. Started getting hired for things, and like I think the biggest thing for me is the personality of it, is going into a room and be able to work your magic instead of just being in there at a bar, at an open bar, drinking the drink, getting hammered, and saying, "Oh my God, I went to this cool party last night." Instead of coming home with a connection or a contact or something that can elongate your career,
Yeah.
And just not even a career, just a presence. When you see the person again, like, "Oh my God, I've seen you before." Like, "Oh my God," it's like they recognize. A 5-minute conversation goes a long way.
It's true.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
You cheers with someone, it goes a long way. Just being in the room with a person, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
I I was just thinking about what you said about capturing like these moments. I think that recent fashion coverage is focused on how much of Fashion Week now happens outside of a lot of the shows. But when fashion becomes more about documentation than experience, how do you think you stay grounded? Or let me rephrase that. How do you think a lot of people stay grounded in themselves? Do you think it's that they just know that they belong like wherever they are, or that the style is sort of like doing the talking and they're doing the walking?
I would say the style more so is doing the talking. Because again, outfit is everything. You get captured, people come out of their cars, it's like, psh, 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 psh. If you have a horrible outfit, it's like, okay, like,
You're
who's
not
next?
getting
You're
invited
not getting
back.
much, I feel like clothing is armor,
Yeah.
kind of in a sense, and you feel good when you're wearing something.
Yeah.
And so when you walk into a space and you go into these spaces, and I feel like a lot of people validate, they want validation. And I think that's the biggest thing in fashion is validation. Because if you're not getting it, you feel like a nobody,
Yeah.
For me, being on the tail end and liking, just, it makes me feel good. I don't care when anyone else says,
Yeah.
If I want to wear a beret, I'm going to wear a
Wear the
beret,
fucking beret, yeah.
If a girl wants to wear a dress, she wants to wear whatever she wants to wear, it makes her feel good. And, you know, these celebrities hire stylists to do that job. You know, I've done styling. I've been on the back end. I've done tours. I've done stuff. I've done, and just seeing it.
You
It's
talk like
like,
someone who's way older than you
I know, I
actually
know, I
are,
know, I
which
know,
is funny
I
because
know.
I've done the same. But it's like it's wild to me that you've had so much life experience
Oh my
like
God.
this
In
early
in
on
the
in your
last
life.
6 years, I was like, I gotta cram everything I can because as you get older, you start to wash away. Not really in the industry,
Or, yeah,
but
are
I
we
feel
talking
like
about as far as modeling or being in front of the
as
camera in
far as
fashion?
just being known for what you do,
Yeah.
more so just like I can take 6 months off and come back and still be, you know, on top. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that advantage because they're always trying to keep being out there, you know?
Yeah.
It's like an Instagram algorithm. It's like you take a day or two off and your likes or views are diminished.
Yeah.
And a lot of people make money off that. I feel like a lot of people get scared and shook. And I feel like I enjoy the back end because I still have a reality without social media, you know, like interpersonal through my phone, I can make money. I don't have to be on social media to make money.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the counter up.
One thing I'm actually curious about because you probably witnessed a bit more of this over the years. This has been like heavily reported. A lot of people are just drinking less in general for whatever reason.
Right.
Are you seeing a lot more of that trend specifically at these parties? Is that just something that people like they just care less about, that in general, or are they just enjoying themselves in different ways, or they're just
Well,
prioritizing
I
other
think
things?
from someone that's drank at events and you know, I've had bad experiences drinking at events, you know, because your image does matter at the end of the day when you're walking in somewhere. But I used to drink and drink and drink, and I had to be hammered and just like I've had a bad, you know, interactions with celebrities or something where I'm
Yeah.
drunk. You know, I don't want that image. I feel like a lot of people kind of set back now because in New York, like drinking's a big thing. I feel like people have to go out to socialize. People have to drink to socialize. You know, I
feel
think
like they have
yeah. And so when it comes to alcohol and these brands not really seeing sales now, I think they're more so focused, and I've seen this more so focused putting their product out there than the revenue. Just because anything can happen, you can always get another sponsorship, another collaboration. So seeing the back end of like liquor brands and just their sales diminishing. I think it's just seasonal though, realistically. I feel like winter time people are doing like the dry January, so they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, they don't really want to indulge in alcohol.
Yeah, because it's post-holiday
Right.
season.
And post and just so many things coming out in the world,
Yeah.
you know. There's still COVID. People are getting sick, you know, immune systems,
That's
deficiencies. I have iron deficiency.
No, the reason I wanted to touch on it was because I think that there still exists. I think a lot of people find like if you're not holding like a glass of something at a social event, they feel kind of awkward.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people may feel weird not drinking.
Yeah.
Or at least it was less common before. But if it's more common, then it loves company.
Well,
whatever it
I
might
feel
be.
like alcohol kind of engages you more.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I have a drink, I'm more willing to stay longer at an event than leave. You know, I went to an event just now for Papa John's, right? I was invited, and it was like a culinary experience. It was cool.
Yeah.
And they had drinks. And I had a drink, and I was just like, I'm kind of ready to go, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like drinking to socialize is kind of it's just out of the water for me. It's just,
Right.
I've done it so many times, and I'm always invited. I feel like I'm not having a good time
Right.
if I'm drinking now, you know? I was sober for 4 months or 6 months actually. I did a sober, like a dry 6 months, and it was amazing. If I felt so much better.
Sure, you slept like a log.
Oh my God, I
then.
slept so good. I was at events and I could party and have water and be like, I think it was kind of harder saying like, oh, you know, I'm not drinking today, or like I don't drink anymore. And it's
Yeah.
like people are like, oh my God, I wish I was you, you know. And I'm like, that's such a
You
weird
can
statement.
be, actually.
You can be, but
you
it's
just have to put it down.
it's a weird, but it's harder than it looks.
Yeah.
You know, because you get so focused on that being your social aspect of what you need to socialize. So I feel like a lot of people can't.
They think that's like
It like
the
it's like something
liquid
that switches in
courage
your head, you
that
know,
allows them to
Right.
have those conversations
Right.
with those people
to
in that
open up
room.
more, right? And
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. I want to play a little game with you, word association. I call it like getting ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw out like a scenario for you, and you tell me like what you think might be important or what you might be like putting on and what you envision, depending on like the situation. Okay, dressing for Fashion Week, but not a show. So what's important?
For me, honestly, I think it's color.
Yeah.
My whole
I could see
right,
that right here.
the monochrome. I think it's color. In my closet at home, if you see on my Instagram, my like walk-in closet, I have a black section and I have a color section. And I don't really touch the color section unless it's special events because black is just easier. It makes you look skinny.
That's
you
like,
feel,
yes,
it's an
it
easier
is.
go-to. It makes you feel just like more. You can just throw it on, and it looks good. Color you have to really focus on, and I feel like Fashion Week, but not a show, is more so just like the color aspect, because you can always put black on,
Yeah.
But what really adds perspective to your outfit? What adds more like it's pizzazz, like what adds to your outfit other than just this bland black suit? Maybe like a color poach or like a cool bow tie or like just like some type of accessory that stands out and is recognizable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, black is the New Yorkers'
It is.
uniform.
It's the easiest thing.
I know.
It's the easiest thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it's nice and I will say this, I think that, and this isn't unique to New Yorkers, but I do feel like when you're waking up every day, it's one less decision to make, and that's why it works so well for so many people.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I go to events and I see people, I'm always looking for creative people.
Yeah.
So if I see all black, I'm like, well, that could easily be done.
Yeah.
But then you have someone with this cool oversized hat that's a color, or like you see like just accessories in general. It's like
oh,
just
I
read
want to
it.
know what they're about.
Right. But you always start with the shoes. Always start with the shoes first.
Always start with the shoes.
Always start with the shoes.
I'm gonna remember that one.
But also for me, I think getting ready, I can't get ready unless my hair's done. My hair's a mess now, but
yeah,
it's always like I have to
not.
shower.
I'm not saying yes to yes. I agree with you, but it's not a mess.
For me, it's like I have to shower and to really do my hair and my face, and then I'm ready to put an outfit on. Because when I put an outfit I'm trying on, I'm like, oh my God, like
the mugs.
put a bag over my head. Like, what is this?
Yeah, but that's interesting. When you're like, do you think when you're putting on an outfit, does it feel like almost a math problem? I've heard stylists describe it that way.
I'll clean my closet, top to bottom, hang everything up, organize. And then when it comes to an event and I have to put something on, it's like a mess.
Yeah. Because you have to.
Like Fashion Week, when I used to have my car, I'd have 3 outfits in it because I had to go to different events and I would like to change for the actual event.
Yeah.
I go to Christian Cohen or I'm going to Dior, I have to switch, and having a car was so accessible. But changing in the back seat, putting this on, getting ready, have it steamed, it was like a nightmare. But it was a blessing and a curse, But everything kind of worked out for me. During Fashion Week, I always go shopping before. I go thrifting. Everything I have is either thrifted or gifted. I don't buy any clothes.
Thrifted or gifted.
That's the new slogan.
I love it.
But yeah.
Getting ready for an after-hours dinner, knowing that there are photographers outside.
Well, again, it's not really about the image. I feel like it's not really about, because for someone that always goes to events and there's always paparazzi in general, I think this question is more for someone that's new to the industry and is, becoming big and doesn't know what to wear. Just your personal style, because everything that's being photographed is about you.
Yeah.
It's based on you. Yeah. This is a representation of you.
Yeah.
So when you step out that black car, the first foot that goes out, it's the first shot, it's you. And so everything you're wearing is an image of you.
Sure. But if it's for like a brand or something like that, and that happens to be a fashion brand, I'm sure you are wearing that brand like in some way. It doesn't need to be head to toe.
Right.
But you're rocking it, as like a wink in some capacity.
Well, most brands that are, when you're going to a brand dinner or if you're invited, they normally send you clothes or you add your style to it as well. And I think most creators now and most brands want that. They want to see how you personalize their own clothing within what you have at home. And so I think for me, if I'm being dressed for Dior and I'm getting a Dior blazer, I'm going to spice it up, because it's just my personal style. Most people, they just go with they want the full set. They're just like, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to have to hire a stylist. I just want someone to just Dress me all black and be simple. But for me, if I'm going with a brand, I wanna showcase my talent on top of it, you know?
Yeah.
Because again, everything's a representation of you.
Yeah, it's your own edge.
Yeah, so your own edge.
Tom Ford was once quoted saying that when he passes people wearing, his everything made by him, like head to toe. I mean, in his mind, the first thing he thinks is that, well, they didn't really add their own personal like
Right.
edge or style to it.
Right.
Like, obviously, he loves when people are wearing his clothes, but he wants to see what they're adding
Right.
to it, and
Exactly.
not just using that as like a blanket or a cover,
Right.
completely for that.
Because you're kind of like masking over your personal style. And designers are meant to encourage people to open up their own, widespread of how they feel. It's expression.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, clothing is armor at the end of the day. It's like a coat. I wear sneakers out, I don't feel confident. I feel like I'm going to the store. I don't want to be seen. I wear a nice cowboy boot, and I'm like feeling more empowered, and I just feel like I'm really supposed to be in the room. I'm stepping,
I love a
and
boot.
I feel like, oh my God, same.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love a boot.
Yeah.
If you see my closet, it's all
It's
cowboy
all
boots,
boots.
cowboy boots. I have a little bit of
Boots
sneakers,
down.
loafers, but I don't know. I feel taller. It makes you feel taller in the room. When I'm flat foot, I just feel like I'm just like at a grocery store, shopping at Trader Joe's.
I am too. I'm flat-footed
yeah.
also, so that's what I do feel like I can command my space a little bit more
Yeah.
when I rock a boot and I step into
Love
a
a
space.
boot. Oh my God, so good.
Can you spot when you feel like an outfit is wearing a person rather than the other way around?
Oh,
now?
for sure.
Yeah. I'm not asking you to name names. I'm just saying. Like,
No names, but I will give you descriptions.
Yeah.
And this is no shade. I'm not even gonna name the city, but in certain cities, a lot of people wear.
Do you want to give me a region?
I would say the South,
Okay.
Atlanta.
Alright.
A lot of people wear name brand things,
Yeah.
because they think it's cool. You go to Utah and Michael Kors is like they're like everything. And not saying Michael Kors is bad, but I feel like it's not mainstream like it used to be,
Yeah.
You can tell, and this is from living in New York. So if I lived where I'm from, North Carolina. So if I was in North Carolina now, I would still be like, oh my God, this is so cool. Kenneth Cole was cool back in the day. It's still cool, but
Yeah.
it's price level now. It's in Marshalls, and it's these brands are still idolized people because it's cool. People,
There's a market.
they showcase their wealth based on what they wear.
Yeah.
And that's like Miami, LA, and Atlanta.
No, you're right. I think that, and I've had this conversation with like a guest, more recently too. We talked about how there are brands that you can spot from like the back of the
Oh my
room
God, yeah.
that are very loud, that people kind of use because I think that's their representation
Right.
of like status or wealth. And like, listen, I'm not knocking the hustle. There's a lot of brands that do that and do that well. I think Gucci does that well. I
Yeah.
think Fendi does that well. Balenciaga, like in more recent years, and the way it's been brought into even more of a mainstream,
Right.
sure. But look, it's my style is my style.
Right.
But I do think people utilize that and try to grab it and make it more of their thing because they feel even more empowered because they bought something.
Well, for
that's-
me, I'm never knocking anyone that spends over $1,000 on clothes, you
Yeah.
know, like on a piece. I've done it.
Yeah, neither am I, by the way. It's
I've done
it's
it. I've sold it.
perfect. Yeah.
But again, everything I have is thrifted and gifted. So for me, I'd rather go spend $5 on a shirt like this. This whole outfit is probably $30.
I love it. That's so good.
But you would never know. People come into the room and they're like, oh my God, I love your shirt. Where's it from? And I'm like, I thrifted it. I don't know. But
Yeah.
you would never see someone else wear it because it's not in the store.
By
you
the
know?
way, that's the best answer. That you can't get this.
You can't get it.
You
There's
will
no
never get
duplicate.
this.
There's
La,
no
la, la, la,
duplicate.
la.
You know? There's no duplicate of it. It's one of one.
You're one of one.
One of
The
one.
outfit's one of one. I was just looking. I was like, I don't know when I don't think I've ever seen red denim before, but that's
Me
fucking
either,
great.
but I love it.
Yeah.
It's such a cool wash.
That's awesome. Okay, so dressing for a concert or a festival.
Okay. Specifics or
Let's just say like a rock concert or a pop concert or something where you'd probably be in like the pit. And you're thinking about adding your personal style.
if I'm going to be in the pit, I'm not going to wear anything expensive, which I don't anyways. But I'm not going to wear anything that it's like wearing white. You go to a club, you wear white, you're ready to get.
fucked,
You're ready. You're ready to come out looking like ketchup or cranberry juice spread all over you. You're asking for it.
Yeah.
I've been in a club once or a concert and people are like, watch it, my outfit. I'm like, you're in a mosh pit.
Yeah. That's what I think. Like, you're going to a rock club and you wear white sneakers. What the hell did
It's
you
like
think was going to happen?
it's what you expect, from working the door and working at clubs and being the person that chooses the people that come in and out. I'm just like, you really thought to wear dirty white sneakers to
Yeah.
a rooftop club? And I tell these people this because someone has to hear it, And going back to your question, what I would wear to a concert, or it depends on the season too.
Yeah.
A lot of people are okay with being rained out. I'm not. I don't like being wet.
Neither do I.
I don't like getting dirty. I don't like being sticky.
Just
Never
in the
been to
shower.
Coachella. Never been.
Yeah.
Don't think I would go because I don't really do all the psychedelics that everyone does there. But I don't know, just something comfy. I think I've been getting into oversized stuff now. When I first moved here, it was mostly like tight-fitted clothing.
Same.
But
it's hard for me to get used to the idea of an oversized look for
yeah,
me. 'Cause I never
I don't
envisioned
want to
myself.
hide my sleepers bill too much,
Yeah.
But I think oversized has been the biggest thing. I like feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think my style in that way would be just comfortability.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm going to a concert or anything, it would be comfortability. Yeah.
Great answer. I love that. I completely agree with you. It's not all fitted for me either. One of the last things I want to ask you, like, what part of this life, really, excites you versus like drains you at this point?
Well, again, I'm very extroverted, so I think, I don't know. There's so many things you can do in the world. When, we used to call it triple threat. When you can do everything, why not do everything? I can open something. I can, people can put their money into shares. They can put their money into trades. They can open a business. They can open a lounge, which I want to do. They can open a ski resort. It's whatever you really feel like you want to do as a person. I just feel like it never stops for me because I'm very creative. And I know when the time is right for me. And I feel like a lot of people want to rush it. And I feel like for me, it's like, you're born to die. So like, do whatever you want, Open a coffee shop, open whatever you think. It's not easy, but it keeps you going. And I think for me, if anyone's listening or hearing right now, whatever you want to do in life reflects on you, you know? There's nothing in the world that comes to an end. You can always do it. You just have to put your mind to it.
Yeah.
You got to put your mind to it. It's not easy where I got and where I am now, but I worked for it. This is 7 years in the industry, and I'm still feel like I'm at the bottom, I do.
You're not.
I'm not, but I feel like I am,
Just so you
compared
know.
to seeing all these other people, I want to get Forbes under 30 before I turn 30, but it could happen.
I see that for you.
It could happen.
I love
but,
it.
it's just about, again, connections, being in the same room, putting yourself out there. You're not going to get anything sitting in the house.
Yeah. But for someone who's been in this business for a while, I'll just say this, like, and I say a while just because you said a while, you don't seem to compare and despair. I think you very much just, own who you are and what you want to put out there, like, wherever you are. That's what I've always gotten from you.
Competition shouldn't have to be a thing, It's your goal and dream. When you're trying to compete with other people, you start getting, like, this foggy brain because you're so focused on what that person's doing instead of what you're supposed to be doing. Because everyone has their own time, TikTok came up, everyone's blowing up now. And everyone's like, I want to be a TikToker, but maybe that's not meant for you,
Yeah.
What's meant for you is meant for you.
Right. They might be too busy reacting to what they're seeing rather than, like...
And then you feel like your life is coming to an end because you're not getting roles, you're not getting money, you're not getting these jobs, And then you start getting discouraged, and then you move into somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and you're happy with a regular life. But for me, I cannot. I love New York. I'm never moving. I'm set in stone here, but I encourage people to just keep going. You never know where it will end.
I think you very much belong here.
Yeah, I do. For sure.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Before we cheers, what I want to say to you is thank you for pulling back the curtain on what I think style actually looks like in practice. What you've made out of your time here and yourself and like what you've learned. I think that's like pretty awesome.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, seriously.
And it never ends.
Yeah,
it never ends.
Totally. No free promo. We are drinking
but
Dunkin'
you might
here,
get it.
But we shall see. But I do enjoy this coffee.
But that's how it works,
Yeah, seriously. Cheers to you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Easy, of course.